how to cook a joint of pork in the Vario steam oven using the meat probe. So I'm going to preheat my oven first of all. My oven, I'm going to use the Cookery, the fan system, and I'm just going to notch the temperature up there to 170. I'm now going to add some steam. So when you're cooking meat, medium amount of steam is a very good choice, and it adds lots of nice moistness into the meat while it's cooking. So my medium steam's gone into there. I'm just going to place my pork in, and then I'm going to add my probe, my meat probe. As you can see, my pork is over the universal tray on the wire rack, with the notches on the wire rack at the back of the oven. So I'm just going to place the joint of pork onto the comfort rail system, and then I'm going to add my meat probe. Now the meat probe has the jack on the side of the oven, and the jack just places into the side, and the multi 3-point meat probe goes directly into the joint of meat. Now it's very important that the meat probe goes right up to the top, so you don't see any of the silver thermometer, and there is 3 little lines on here which detect the temperature, so it's very accurate of the inner core temperature of meat. So I'm just going to place that into the pork at an angle, and as soon as you attach the meat probe, it comes up on the display what temperature you'd like the meat probe to be set. So for pork, it's 75, which is the perfect temperature for the inner core temperature of pork. Obviously, if you wanted a rare beef or a rare lamb, you would reduce that temperature slightly. So I'm going to tick to say that I want my inner core temperature to reach 75 degrees, and then the oven turns off. So the fantastic thing about using the meat probes on the Neff ovens is the fact that you can never overcook meat. Your meat will be done absolutely perfectly, it will never overcook, will never undercook, and you can be sure you've got a perfectly cooked joint because you're adding steam as well, so it's going to be lovely and moist. So I'll just press my go button, I'll fill the water tank. So it's now telling me perfectly I need to put extra water in there, which is great because if it does do that while you're cooking, it will stop. You need to fill the water tank, and then you need to add it and it will stop. So I filled the water tank, that pops back into the front fascia, top back down, and then it's all automatically set to your Cookery 170, medium steam and 75, and then that oven will turn off exactly when that core temperature has reached 75, so we have a perfectly cooked joint and it's beautifully moist because of the steam. Okay, so now the potatoes need to go into the oven for your home cooked roast meal. So the good thing about cooking in your Neff oven with your meat probe and your steam on the Vario steam is that you don't have to parboil your roast potatoes. So it saves all that time of parboiling them in advance. So an hour before your pork is cooked or your joint of meat is cooked, you need to add your roast potatoes. So my potatoes here have been peeled, not parboiled, just coated in some olive oil and a salt and pepper. And what I'm going to do now is to pop them around the outside of my pork on the universal tray. Yeah. So that these soften nicely in the steam. So they're just set on the universal tray, and the good thing is as well, you don't have to baste these or turn them over halfway during cooking. They cook lovely all the way round. The addition of the steam into the Vario steam will make the potatoes nice and moist and fluffy inside, and the heat and the brown of the Cookery will make them nice and crispy on the outside, and they'll cook alongside the pork. You will find that cooking those at 170, they won't be quite as crisp as you would like them. So once the pork is ready and the pork is cooked, you then take the pork out, turn the oven up to about 200 while the meat is resting, and then the potatoes will cook a little bit more crispy on 200. I'm just going to put them back in there until the probe tells me that the meat is ready.